I want to tell you about a moment that stops everything. You're sitting at your desk. Your manager sends you a meeting invite. No subject line, no agenda, just a quick chat. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you already know. 22 years, then a form, then a box for your things. This isn't a story about how everything magically turned around in 30 days. I'm not going to promise you that. What I am going to share is what actually works, the specific steps people take after a layoff at 55 or older that eventually lead somewhere better. Whether this is happening to you right now, or you're worried it could happen soon, or you know someone going through it, this video is for you. Let's start from the beginning. When a layoff happens, the first 48 hours feel like standing in the middle of a storm, and in that storm, people make decisions that cost them months later. Here's what not to do first. Most employers will give you a severance agreement and ask you to sign it quickly. In many states, you have 21 days to review it, and in some cases up to 45 days. Don't let anyone rush you. That severance package is negotiable, and signing too fast almost always means leaving money on the table. What to do in the first 48 hours? File for unemployment benefits immediately, not next week. The clock starts when you file, not when you were laid off. Every week you wait is a week of benefits you cannot get back. And take care of your health insurance. Under COBRA, you can continue your employer's coverage, but you typically have just 60 days to elect it. Missing that window means starting over with a marketplace plan at full cost. Once the immediate paperwork is handled, the next step is getting completely honest with your money. Not what you wish it was, not what it will be when you find something new, what it actually is right now. This number, how many months your savings and severance can cover, is the most important number you need to know. It determines how urgently you need to look for work, whether you have time to be selective, and whether you can afford to explore something new. Most people skip this step. They spend the first few weeks in a kind of emotional holding pattern, half looking for jobs, half hoping something resolves itself, without actually knowing how much time they have. Knowing your real number removes the fog. It replaces anxiety with a plan. Here's the honest truth about job searching at 55 that most videos skip. If you immediately start firing off the same resume to the same type of jobs at the same salary level, you are going to hit a wall. Not because of your age, and not because you aren't qualified, but because the market has changed. Your leverage has shifted, and what worked at 40 won't necessarily work the same way at 55. Before you update your resume, spend one day answering 2 questions in writing. 1. What did I actually like about my last job? Not what looked good on paper. What genuinely engaged you? 2. What was I doing when I felt most effective? Not most busy, most effective. The answers to these questions often point toward a much more specific direction than any job in my field. And that specificity, especially for someone with 20+ years of experience, is actually a competitive advantage, not a limitation. This surprises a lot of people, but LinkedIn has become more important than a resume for most industries, especially for professionals over 50. Here's why. Recruiters and hiring managers don't wait for resumes anymore. They actively search LinkedIn for candidates. If your profile is incomplete, outdated, or missing key terms, you're invisible to them before you even apply. One small but powerful detail: your headline is not your last job title. It should be a short statement of what you do and who you do it for. Something like, Operations Manager, 20 years of process improvement, open to new opportunities. That headline shows up in recruiter searches. Here's what the data consistently shows. Most jobs, especially senior-level positions, are filled through personal connections, not job boards. At 55, you have something that a 28-year-old applicant doesn't: 20 to 30 years of professional relationships, former colleagues, former managers, former clients, industry contacts you haven't spoken to in years. Start with a short, honest message to 10 to 15 people in your network. You don't have to explain everything. Something like, "Hi, name. I've recently made a transition and am exploring new opportunities in field. If you hear of anything or know someone I should connect with, I'd be grateful." That's it. Simple, direct, no apology. And don't overlook age-friendly employers. The AARP Employer Pledge Program lists hundreds of companies that have specifically committed to not discriminating based on age. This is a short list of organizations that are genuinely open to hiring experienced professionals. A layoff at 55 is difficult, but it's also one of the rare moments in life when you are genuinely free to make a change you might have wanted for years but never had the disruption to pursue. Consulting, freelancing, part-time remote work, a small business built on your specific expertise. Many people who are laid off at 55 and take the time to really ask what they want end up in something better than what they had. Not immediately, not without discomfort, but eventually. A few examples worth looking into. If you have industry expertise, platforms like Catalant and TopToll connect experienced professionals with consulting projects. If you're open to remote work, FlexJobs specifically screens listings and has a large pool of senior-level remote positions. This last step gets left out of most what to do after a layoff videos, and I think that's a mistake. A job is not just income. For a lot of us, especially after 20 or 30 years in a career, it's identity, routine, purpose, and social connection. Losing it suddenly disrupts all four at once. Depression and anxiety during extended job searches are real, and they affect the quality of your applications, your confidence in interviews, and your ability to think clearly about options. Build structure. Keep morning routines. Maintain 1 to 2 social commitments per week. Exercise, even briefly. Set clear work hours for your job search and close the laptop at the end of them. And if the emotional weight feels too heavy, talking to someone, a counselor, a career coach, or even a job seeker's support group is not a sign of weakness. It's the kind of clear-eyed, practical action that actually moves things forward. After a layoff at 55, 7 steps that actually work. Don't sign anything for 48 hours. File unemployment immediately. Know exactly how many months you can sustain yourself. Reflect before you react. Ask the right questions first. Update LinkedIn before your resume. Network before applying. Use your relationships. Consider the pivot. This may be your best chance. Protect your mental health. It's part of the strategy. Getting laid off at 55 is one of the hardest things that can happen in a career, but it is not the end of your professional life, your earning potential, or your purpose. It's a reset, and resets, even painful ones, sometimes lead somewhere better than where you were. If this video helped you or someone you know, please give it a thumbs up. It helps reach more people who are going through exactly this right now and need real, practical information. Subscribe to MoneyQuill for more honest videos about money, income, and financial confidence at every stage of life. You're not alone, and you're not done.